Okay, what I call clay, easy clay, like you saw by the picture, was corn flour, PVA glue, and you want some little knife. I like using a knife, and a bowl. So this is how simple it is. No amounts, you have to figure out how much you want. Tip some of the corn flour into a bowl. We'll do that much. Get your PVA glue and add to it. Don't be too daft. Give it a bit of a stir around and keep adding to it until you have the amount you want. Now this might take a fair bit, generally does, but at the same time just take your time, don't go over the top, otherwise you'll end up with a soggy mess which won't be any good to anybody. It's your best just to do it little bit by little bit as we're talking here, telling each other stories. As you can see there, don't know if you can see, it's now getting into a place where it's starting to congeal, and really we want it the sort of texture where it's going to mould pretty well, but it's not too wet, not too dry. If you get it too dry, you can end up with it cracking around the edges and such, which, depending on what you're making, doesn't really matter. I'm going to add a little bit more corn flour to that, because that's why I said don't get too stupid, because you can go way past it. So do it little bit by little bit. I'm going to feel what that's like. Yeah, a little bit more. So yeah, if you go past a little way, you know, make sure you got enough corn flour to add and bring it back again. Otherwise, you've gone past. But the good thing about this is, especially when we've done a bit of moulding, you can keep it. If you put it into a plastic bag and make it pretty airtight, it will last for quite a few days, if a couple of weeks or so afterwards. And keep having a look at it if you're not going to use it. But what I suggest is, if you're squeezing the bag and it feels like it's getting a little bit firm, just open the bag, a little bit more glue on it, work it in, and if we get this about right, and give it a good knead, because you want it all in there. If you get it, let's take the bowl away now so we ain't got all the clanking, but there you go. I'll just add a touch so that we're not, but if you see that, that's about right. Well, it's something like a plasticine, if you all call that stuff you had at school plasticine. I imagine so. Plasticine maybe a little bit softer than plasticine. Just keep giving a push in with your thumb like that, and what you're doing is you're just working all the flour into the glue and you're making it nice and pliable. But I know I'm sort of going below camera range, but you get the drift anyway. If you look there, keep sticking your thumb in, turning it over, a bit like you're doing dough for bread, pizzas, all those sort of lovely things that you like. Let's move the glue. So there, see that? Now that's pretty soft. That's going to be great for some of the things you make, but you can also, let's have a look, keep sprinkling a bit on and just moving that in, because although it feels firm, the more you do this, it's going to get softer. So you have to judge for yourself as you're doing it. Is that soft? Is it too soft for what you're actually going to do? If you're going to push it into molds, little molds, fairly soft isn't so bad. But if you're going to roll it out and make things, then you know you probably need it a little bit firmer. You don't want it sort of running over your board like a blooming raw egg. So there we go. I think that's about right for what we might want to do today. Because, like I said, I'll just go put a little bit more. Like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you very simple things, or thing, whatever, depends what I feel like. Then really depends on what sort of artist you are, what sort of talent you got, whether you can do anything that's really exciting. So with this you can make leaves, you can make skulls, you can make different little brooches. You can turn it over and press the pins that you can buy for badges, jacket badges and such. Press them in the back so they stick in there and make yourself some little jacket badges. Right, I think that's where we're going to stop on that. So we'll be back to actually do something with it. One thing. This little bit here, the little scrappy bit, I'm going to cut a bone shape out of it. Keep it really simple. Not going to mould it or anything. These are just plain, simple, flat designs that you can either leave the colour that this dries, or you can paint whatever colour you want. But anyway, I'll come back, show you what I've actually done and what we can do to actually be able to put them on to ourselves. Okay, back in a mo. Okay, there's 4 designs. Like I said, pretty straightforward. I've done as simple as I can so that you can do simple, but you can do what designs you want. You can do cat heads, bats, skulls, whatever. But I've kept them pretty plain because although they're pretty plain, they can still look pretty cool on you because it's not something everybody else has got. So this one, still got stuff on my hands. This one, the little bone, you can do it how you like. You can mould it a bit more to give it the sort of bone structure around the edges off, whatever you like, however you want it to be. Like I said, you can spend your time if you're good at it and you can make one that looks like a bone. How would you put that on? You could put a pin on the back, or you can get something like this. Where should we put it? There. Push that in, give it a twirl, there's a little hole. You can add a little link onto that or whatever, or you can put something like that through it and be proud that you made something. So like I said, you can have it like that. You can make it a bendy bone. Sorry, hitting the camera. I'm going to leave that bendy. This one, a simple skull. Just get something that's that round, press down, cut the holes out. You don't even have to cut the holes out, just make indentations. But that's as simple as I could make it. But we'll have a look at them when they're actually dried and on chains or whatever I'm going to put them on, and we'll see what they look like. Like I said, what I like about them is that they're simple. It's not like going and buying this really big expensive pendant or anything. You're just downright simple. Just about how, if you got kids, one of them would come home and say, "Mum, Dad, this is what I made for you today." Thank you, sweetheart. The other thing you can do is you buy these little things. I bought them to go on little tiny bottles, put in the cork. But what you can do is you can just, while this is pliable, push it into the material, push it out again, and that will dry in there. What I'll probably be prone to do is add a little bit of hot glue around it as well, but that should hold, again, something like this. What I'm going to do with the other one, you can do exactly the same as that. We could make a little hole in it, and what you can do as well is you can get your string, make a big knot in it. If I can lift that up. I'm not going to do it with this one because they're drying a little bit. Put it under there, press it down, and that knot will go into the clay that you made, and it'll dry in there. But because that's already drying pretty well, I'm going to just do this, and we'll make an hole in there to put a link. And then what we'll do is we'll come back, have a look at them when they have actually dried, and theoretically I should be able to lift them up and they'll be that hard. Then it's up to you. You can keep it that colour, you can paint them, varnish them, whatever you want. But that really is a simple way of making clay that you can play around with. Like I said, these really dead straightforward things that I think are going to come out pretty reasonable. And but if you want to take your time, you will have in your mind what you want to make, how you want to go about moulding it. And like I said, if you have this material fairly pliable, if you get little moulds, I don't know if you can get silicone skull moulds for chocolates or anything like that. That'd be a nice size. While it's still pliable, you push it in there, flatten the back off, let it set, and like I said, put your hole in or put one of these in, whatever, and hey presto, you can make some lovely little bats and everything out of those, but they're not going to look dead professional. But these are not supposed to look dead professional. These are for the first time let's ever go at making something out of plaster or clay or whatever, and their ideas, but the novelty pendants. So we'll come back when they're dry and hopefully I can tap them on here without breaking my board. So catch you later.